Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare.
Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare.
Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare.
Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare.
Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare.
Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare.
Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare.
Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare.
Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare.
Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare.
Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare.
Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare.
Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare.
Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare.
Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare.
Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare.
Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare.
Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare.
Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare.
Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare.
Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare. Hare Hare,
Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare.
Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare.
Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare.
Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare.
Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare.
Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare.
Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare.
Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare.
Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare.
Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare.
Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare.
Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare.
Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare.
Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare.
Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare.
Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare.
Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare.
Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare.
Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare.
Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare.
Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare.
Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare.
Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare.
Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare.
Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare.
Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare.
Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare.
Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare.
Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare.
Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare.
Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare.
Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare.
Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare.
Hello, Hare Krishna. Atul Krishna Prabhu, you're there?
Yeah, Hare Krishna.
Hare Krishna, Prabhuji, Dandat Pranam. This is Mahapati Prabhu here. So I have made you co-host, Prabhuji, and
Okay,
we'll
so
just spotlight you, and we can get started.
I will begin. I can share screen. Yes.
Yes, Prabhuji.
I can be heard.
Yes, Prabhuji, we can hear you.
Vande aham Shri Guru Shri Juta Pada Kamalam Shri Gurun Vaishnavam Cha Shri Rupam Shaguru Jatam Sahagaram Raghunatam Udam Tam Shajivam Shadaitam Shavadutam Parijana Shairam Krishna Chaitanya Devam Shri Radha Krishna Padan Sahaganan Lalita Shri Vihagang Vidangscha Mantra Guru Tashika Guru Ganta Charanaya Gekari Abandon Vanchaka Patrubi Ashtra Kripashinda Vivachapuditanam Pavaneva Vaishnava Namo Namaha Agihana Timananda Shigyana Jina Shalakaya Chakshushalminetang Yanatasma Sri Gurave Namaha Namo Vishnu Padai Krishna Prasthai Bhutala Shamati Bhakti Vedanta Shami Hitinamane Namaste Sharashari Deve Gaudamani Pachani Nirvishesha Shanori Krishna Tadeshtane Hare Krishna. Sri Krishna, the ultimate form of God, we'll be discussing today why Sri Krishna is considered, worship of Sri Krishna is considered the ultimate form of worshipping God, based on the teachings of Srila Abhacharana Aravinda Bhaktivedanta Swami Srila Prabhupada, ISKCON's Pratishtata Acharya. We'll be discussing predominantly from the Sri Chaitanya Charitamrita, and specifically from Sri Chaitanya Mahaprabhu's teachings to Srila Rupa Goswami Prabhupada. We are called the Rupanugas, and we chant the prayer Sri Chaitanya Mano Bhishtam Shtapitam Jena Bhutale Shayam Rupa Kadamayam Dadati Swapadantikam, that Sri Chaitanya Mano Bhishtam, the mind of Sri Chaitanya Mano, the mind, Sri Chaitanya Mano Bhishtam. It means the desire. Mano Bhishtam means the desire. Shtapitam Janaputale, who established that in this world. In other words, who the person who clarified, what is the mission of Sri Chaitanya Mahaprabhu, the person who clarified that. Shtapitam, and established that. Shri Rupa Goswami, he is Sri Chaitanya Mahaprabhu's principal disciple. And Chaitanya Mahaprabhu teaches everything to Shri Rupa Goswami. Krishna Tattva, Bhakti Tattva, Rasha Tattva, Pranto, Shab Shikhailo Prabhu, Bhagavad Siddhanto. Shab Shikhailo Prabhu. Mahaprabhu, he taught everything to Shri Rupa Goswami. Bhagavad Siddhanto. Now the Srimad Bhagavatam we know is 12 cantos, and that takes quite a extensive period of one's life to thoroughly study. So the whole Bhagavad Siddhanta, Mahaprabhu is explaining it very succinctly. Sutta Rupe Kohe. He explains to Rup Goswami, Sutta Rupe Kohe. Vishtanajar Bonon, because it's not possible to Bhakti Rosha Lokan, Vishtanajar Bonon Sutta Rupe Kohe. It's not possible to explain in detail the symptoms of Krishna consciousness and Krishna Bhakti. So Sutta Rupe Kohe. Vishtari Tanajai, it's not possible to explain it all. Chaitanya Mahaprabhu is. But we'll see subsequently that Chaitanya Mahaprabhu, he ordered Srila Rupa Goswami to expand on what he says. And that's what we studied in the Bhakti Shastra. Bhakti Shastri, the Bhakti Rasamrita Sindhu, the Nectar Devotion. In the Nectar Devotion, Srila Rupa Goswami expands on what he taught, what was taught to him by Sri Chaitanya Mahaprabhu in this section of Srimad Bhagavatam. So that's very convenient for us that we can just by reading one chapter of Madhya Lila, chapter 19. Perhaps someone, no, we're good. Yeah. Chapter 19. So it's very convenient. Everything about Krishna Tattva means the science of Krishna, Bhakti Tattva, the science of devotional service, Rasa Tattva. The Pranta means the end, the complete anta, pra-anta. Come to the end of what you can discuss about the science of Krishna, the science of Bhakti, the science of Rash. Rash means the mellows in which one worships God. This is why in terms of the Siddhanta, the Gaudiya Siddhanta, why it's considered the topmost. Why it's considered the topmost theoretically. Mahaprabhu in Sri Chaitanya Charitamrita, Mahaprabhu establishes, he preaches to all. That's why Sri Chaitanya Charitamrita is such an important script. Because Mahaprabhu establishes the Gaudiya Siddhanta from all aspects. He addresses the different philosophies, the Tattvavadis, of course the Mayavadis. He addresses with Sarvabhauma Bhattacharya and then Prakashananda Saraswati, and he addresses he addresses the different Vaishnava sampradayas, the Sri Sampradaya and the Madhva Sampradaya, and he discusses with them. And that's one in the Sri Chaitanya Charitamrita. He's discussing in Sri Rangam. That's such a beautiful place. I toured South India with devotees from Damodar Desh, and from what I can reflect, the most wonderful experience is my experience in Sri Rangam temple, where we went to Mangalati, and the devotees, the local priests, they treated us so respectfully. They gave us a special darshan just because I was from ISKCON. I could go inside and I could stay there for 5 minutes, and Shayan Vishnu is there, and then they bring the elephant to Mangalati. And so Sri Rangam for me was such a beautiful place, and I'd love to go back there and experience that again. It's been ancient, since the times of Ramanujacharya, 1,000 years. Pretty spectacular. So when Mahaprabhu was there 500 years ago, he discussed with Sri Venkat Bhatta about why is it that Lakshmi Devi was attracted to Shri Krishna, and that's all explained, that she couldn't. That'll be explained a little more this evening. So that was also in Sri Rangam. And Mahaprabhu in this way, in the Sri Chaitanya Charitamrita, all of his philosophy is established, and why Gaudiya Siddhanta is the topmost philosophy and theology. Rasa Tattva means that this is why the Gaudiya Siddhanta, even in the other the Vaishnav Sampradayas, the four Vaishnav Sampradayas, they do not, it's only the Gaudiyas that worship Sri Radhika in Vrindavan. Others worship Lord Vishnu Narayan in Vaikuntha. And these pastimes of Krishna in Vrindavan are explained by Chaitanya Mahaprabhu. Chaitanya Mahaprabhu appears to explain these pastimes. This is why the Krishna Janmashtami is such the most important day in the year of the Vaishnavas and the Gaudiya Vaishnavas. And this is why Krishna, even I've lived in Bengal for 25 years, and Radha Krishna is particularly Purva Bengal. Radha Krishna in Purva Bengal, East Bengal. Radha Krishna is worshipped amongst the Vaishnavas more than any other deity. And in Paschim Bengal and West Bengal, however, Radha Krishna is not worshipped. As we see, they're worshipped in Bangladesh, East Bengal. So, and of course, in Vrindavan, you'll see all of the temples of Krishna in Vrindavan. You'll see that there's all of the writing in the temples is in Bengali, and all of the Gaudiyas are the predominant. The Gaudiyas are the predominant in Braj. I mean, there's the other Sampradayas, but the Gaudiyas, very predominant in Radha Krishna. This is the Gaudiya, means Mahaprabhu's teachings to Rupa Goswami. This is where it is. This is where you'll find why we're worshipping Krishna to tomorrow, Janmashtami, because of these teachings Mahaprabhu gave to Rupa Goswami. And he explains the Rasha Tattva. Rasha Tattva means that you love Krishna in Vrindavan in different Rasha. There's a whole science, actually. We could, if you're interested, we could conduct this, the Rupshika, we could conduct a whole course on this topic of Mahaprabhu's teachings to Rupa Goswami. And we're just taking from this topic of why Krishna. This is one part of his teachings, but he teaches about in scientifically about all the different rasas, Sakya ras, and all of the qualities that you could say the components of Sakya ras. He explains Sakya ras, Vatsarya ras, Madhurya ras, Shanta ras, everything. Very scientific. It's a deep study. And Prabhupada, of course, explained this. This was the first topic that Prabhupada dealt with in his teachings of Lord Chaitanya. That's a very fascinating. Rup Shikha is the first section of the teachings of Lord Chaitanya, which was the book that Srila Prabhupada, it's one of the earliest books that he wrote. It's the book wherein he introduced Krishna consciousness, Chaitanya Mahaprabhu, particularly he introduced Chaitanya Mahaprabhu to the Western world with the book Teachings of Lord Chaitanya in 1968. And Sri Chaitanya Charitamrita was published in 1973. You know the story, I think. Familiar with the story of the publication of the Sri Chaitanya. Prior to that was Teachings of Lord Chaitanya, which was published in 1968. So Prabhupada was very early. And in Teachings of Lord Chaitanya, the first chapter is Rup Shikha, wherein the Rasha Tattva, Mahaprabhu has come to teach Rupa Goswami that Vrindavan and Radha, Vrindavan as well. We'll carry on. I won't explain that. Now, you just kindly excuse me for a minute, and then we'll come back and discuss the two ways of you can have Krishna Prema. And it's a question for the Bhakti Shastri students. Maybe they can get prepared to answer this question of the Bhakti Shastri. Hare Krishna. So some Bhakti Shastri students can tell us. Krishna Roti. Two types of Krishna Roti. Who can answer that? I need to get my clock. Yeah. Two types of Krishna Roti. Can someone answer? I can hear people. I can't hear anybody anyway, so I'll just answer it myself. 1 minute. Okay. Change the battery. Sorry. So, Acharya Gyan Mishra is one type of way of loving Krishna. Means that attachment with awe and reverence means that in that way you love Krishna, but you have understanding that he is the Supreme Personality of Godhead. That's called Acharya Gyan Mishra. And the other one is called Kebal Shuddha Prem, pure attachment. So those of you who studied the Bhakti Shastras course, then you'll remember that Rupa Goswami, he said there's two ways of loving Krishna. He called it Mahatma Gyan and Kebal Shuddha Prem. So here is where Mahaprabhu is teaching this to Rupa Goswami. Mahaprabhu says, Acharya Gyan Mishra, that means Mahatma Gyan Prem. In other words, Acharya means the potency of God. Aishwarya, Ishvara, his opulence. Aishwarya, Prakash means his manifestation of opulence. But when he's doing Leela, like in Krishna Leela, he's playing as a cowherd boy. He's not manifesting his opulence as the Supreme Personality of Godhead. He's not displaying. He's just playing displaying childhood pastimes. So that's Vrindavan. That's called Keval Shuddha Prem. There's no understanding in Vrindavan and in Navadip, in Mayapur also, same pastimes as Golok, that Brajendra Nandan Jaisha Chishutta Hoilo Shai Balarama Hoilo Nidai. Same Nanda Maharaj appeared as Jagannath Mishra, and Brajendra Nandan, the darling of the king of Braj, he appeared as Sachinandan. Balaram Hoilo Nidai. Sri Gaudamandal Bhumi Jeva Jani Chintamani Tarahoy Braja Bhumi Bash, the land of Sri Gomandal, of Bongal Bhumi, Gaudadesh, where Shri Chaitanya Mahaprabhu has appeared, is Gaudadesh, Gaududaye, Pushpavanto, Chitro, Shando, Tamunudo, Anne Shri Krishna Chaitanya, Nityanando, Shahodido, Shri Krishna Daskavaraj Goswami, Gaududaye, they appeared on the horizon of Gauda, Gaududaye. It's called Gauda, although we think gold because it's gold, Mahaprabhu, but actually the capital of the Bengal was called Gold at the time of Mahaprabhu's appearance. So therefore the Gauda Hoite, Bhaktasya Chindu Shatta Mahaprabhu Bhakti Shah Mahabhakta, when the devotees from Bengal were arriving for the first time in Jagannath Puri. To the king, they're announced, the Gauda Hoite, Bhakta Ashiyat Chindu Shatta, 200 Dushatta, 200 devotees, Gauda Hoite, coming from Gaudadesh. So the Gaudiya Bhaktas are the Bengali Vaishnavas. So Gauda. Yeah, okay. So Gaudadesh, that's Gaudadesh is the same as Brajabhumi, when Mahaprabhu performed it. That's according to Sri Narottam Thakur Mahashai. Sri Gaudamandal Bhumi Jaiva Jani Chintamani Tarahoy Brajabhumi Bash. And the spiritual level, Gaudamandal, the Mati of Gaudamandal is Vrindavan. So the same pastimes of Krishna in Vrindavan, where he's not displaying his godliness, that those pastimes Sachinandan performs in Navadip Dham. And the same truths are there. So Mahaprabhu was explaining that Gokule, Kevalgrati, Aisharya Gyanhin. Gokule, in Gokul, I'm saying Gokul, right? In Gokul Vrindavan, pure attachment without reverence. That's called Kevalgrati. Aisharya Gyanhin. So there's no knowledge, Aisharya Gyan, without understanding, without any concept that he's God. It's called pure attachment. So this is higher. This is pure attachment. In other words, this love of Krishna and Vrindavan is the highest. It's more pure. Aisharya Gyanhina, because there's no mix there of the concept that he's God. So therefore, in Vrindavan, the full Krishna experience is there in its full rasa and a full flavor of being a mother, of being a friend, of being a lover. This is more preferred, pure attachment, Keval. And then in Puri Dware, Vaikuntadde, Aisharya Prabhin, Puri Dware means the two Puris, means Mathura Puri and Dwarkara Puri. That's Puri Dware, the two Puris. Vaikuntadde and up to Vaikunta, Aisharya Prabhin. There, the concept that Krishna is God is, well, of course, in the Puri Dwara, it's Krishna specifically, and in Vaikunta, it's Lord Narayan. Aisharya Prabhin. There, the main concept, the main element in the consciousness, Prabhin, is Aisharya, is his God. So these very advanced teachings. These are very advanced teachings. Where else do you find on this planet any such advanced teachings about the nature of God, about the feelings of God, that he's worshipped, he doesn't like to be worshipped? Where is that even? It's not even hinted at in any of the main religion theologies that we have on this planet. And then the Vaishnava, that Krishna is a person, that is even more superior. No one knows the abode of Krishna. Srimad Bhagavatam, no other theology comes close to describing the details of the science of God compared to Srimad Bhagavatam. And now here, Chaitanya Mahaprabhu, he's coming to explain that even within that, there's specifically in Vrindavan, this is the topmost. And why is that? Because there's no mix that he's even God. It is just pure love. So here in Dwarka, this is a description. This is how Krishna arrived when, after completing the battle of Kurukshetra, he returning to Dwarka. And you can see they're all worshipping him as Dwarkadish, but as the Supreme Personality of Godhead. He's being worshipped. When in Mathura, Puri, when Krishna appeared, then he immediately displayed his forearm form to Vasudeva and Devaki, because they'd been praying for the Supreme Personality of Godhead. So to confirm with them that, yes, that Supreme Personality of Godhead for whom you've been praying, I am he. He showed his forearm form. So Devaki and Vasudeva, they're in full consciousness as Aishvarya Gyan, Mishra, Vatsalya Prem. They have the understanding that Krishna is the Supreme Personality of Godhead. And of course, in Dwarka, where Lord Krishna is worshipped, and Lord Vishnu is worshipped, that Lakshmi Sahasrashata Shambrama Shebyamanam Govindamadi Purusham Tamaham Bhajami. Lakshmi Sahasrashata, hundreds of thousands of Lakshmis. Lakshmi Sahasrashata Shambrama Shebyamanam, seva which is offered with great reverence. Sambrama Shebyamanam Lakshmi Sahasrashata, hundreds and thousands of Lakshmis with great awe and veneration that they're worshipping. They're not treating him like an equal. In Vrindavan, however, Krishna is treated differently. Now, Mahaprabhu, he explains this, how Vrindavan is the topmost, giving these particular examples. In Mathura, after Krishna entered the arena of Kamsa and killed Kamsa, I need to get some water. Excuse me again, kindly. After killing Kamsa, Devaki and Vasudev, they came to see Krishna. Having not seen him in 10 years, something like that, when he was a young child and he's come back. So Mahaprabhu was explaining that Vasudev, Devaki Krishna Charan Bandila, Asha Yagyan Duhar Mone Bhoy Hoila. When Krishna, Vasudev Devaki, Krishna Charan Bandila, when Krishna offered his obeisances to Vasudeva and Devaki, because he's their parents, Aishadya Gyane, right? There it is, because of knowing that he's the Supreme Personality of Godhead. Aishadya Gyane, Duha, the two of them, Mone Bhoy Hoilu. They became afraid. Oh, because Krishna is coming in and touching our lotus feet. They felt fear. They both felt awe, reverence, and fear due to knowledge of his opulences. Okay, so this is the state of in Vrindavan, in Mathura. So the Mahaprabhu explains that Aishadyagan Pradhanna Shankuchita Priti. When there is this prominent understanding that it's God, the Supreme God, then the love, the Priti, is crippled. Shankuchita. The Shankuchita Priti, it cripples the Priti. Dekhiya namone Aishadya Kebala Riti. So Dekhiya namone. In Kebalarati, in Vrindavan, because they're attached to pure attachment, without any understanding that he's God, just simply in one of those deeply in one of those rushas, as a friend, as a parent, as a lover, they were all Kebalarati, Dekhiya namone Aishadya. Even he shows Dekhiya, even he demonstrates his opulence, as he sometimes does in Vrindavan, he sometimes does in Navadip. Dekhiya namane Aishadya. They don't think of him as the Supreme Personality of Godhead. They just think of him, Krishna's going and he's protecting the cowherd boys because he's Krishna. He's there. He's the leader of the cowherd boys, not because he's God. Now, another place in Shri Chaitanya Charitamrita, Vrindavan, Shri Krishna Das Kaviraj Goswami explains that Amar Ishwaramane Apanake Hina. If you think that I'm God and you're inferior to me, Dar Prem Bosh Ami Nahoy Odhina. Their love of me doesn't, the way, if you think I'm God and you're inferior to me, your love, it doesn't completely control me. I do not become subservient to his love, nor can it control me. If one regards himself as a subordinate and me as the Supreme Lord. More putra, more shaka, more pranaprati. E bhave, jai more kore shuddha bhakti. Those who worship me in this way, e bhave, more putra, you're my child, more shaka, you're my friend, more pranaprati, you're my lover. Apnake boromone amar shamhina. If you think apnake boro, you think I'm apnake boromone amake sham, that you think you're bigger than me, or that regarding himself as great and considering me his equal or inferior, regarding him, apnake boromone, just like Jagannath Mishra. He thinks in a dream, a Brahmin appears to Jagannath Mishra and says, Mishra, your child is the Supreme Lord Narayan. It's just inappropriate for you to attempt to correct him the way you're doing. And this dream was going on and they were discussing. It'd be pretty amazing to have a dream like that, wouldn't it? When a effulgent Brahmin comes and starts giving you direct instruction on how to deal with your son. So Jagannath Mishra had such a dream, and the Brahmin said that your child is the Supreme Lord Narayan. You're correcting him is not appropriate. Mishra kahe, Dev Shidi Munikani Noi Jai Shai Hok Matra Ama Tanoi. Mishra kahe, and Jagannath Mishra replied to that Brahmin that Dev Shidi Munikani Noi. Yeah, why not? Gani Noi, he's a Supreme Lord, he's a Shiti, he's a perfect being, he's a Muni, he's a great learned, or he's the Supreme Lord. Why not? Jai Shai Hok, no matter how big he is, Matro Amar Tanoi, as far as I'm concerned, he's my son. And it's my responsibility to educate him. So Vishuddha Vatsalya Keval Prem. But Shuddha Kaviraj Goswami explains that Jagannath Mishra thinks he has a responsibility to educate him, and he chastises him on occasion. Shay Bhabe, Hoy Amitaha Odina. Yes, I become completely subordinate to them. Because in this way he enjoys, Braja Bihari means that he comes to enjoy, and it's not that God has to labor over issues like any ECO or chairman has to make decisions, and what are the different options, and it takes mental energy and decisive. There's the thing they call decision fatigue. Decision fatigue. If you have to keep making decisions, after a while you get fatigued, and so decision fatigue. So therefore, a lot of people just prefer jobs where they're just told what to do, one thing after another. They never have to really consider just what to do. They're just told that decision making. So he becomes controlled. He becomes under the control. That type, yes. So Krishna, God is not making decisions. That's where we were coming. God is not making decisions. And what would do this case? What would do with that case? The Christian, that's pretty much the gobble that you come to the pearly gates and St. Peter is there, and you decide, you come before God. It's like Judgment Day. He's not just like judging everybody. I mean, what a drag, eternally. And there's unlimited jivas. I mean, there's constantly, what a drag. That's it. When it all comes down to it, this is your life. I just judge people. No, Krishna doesn't do that at all. He has no concept that he's God. He just leaves the office completely behind. I mean, no one can do that. No one can do that. But yes, he forgets. Specifically with Majasoda. There's the incident there. Maybe I'll show the other one. Go to that one. Yeah, when we'll come back to this, but how can he? If she's thinking he's God, how can she chase after him with a stick? And same with Jagannath Mishra. It doesn't enter their head, because Krishna wants to play the role. It's just like a drama that's real, becomes reality. I have a reflection on that. Prabhupada mentioned that he was in a drama, and he only went in a drama once. He played Advaita Acharya, and they rehearsed for a year. And Prabhupada commented that he had a realization on that. He never went in drama again, he said, but that was the one time he was Advaita Acharya. And Prabhupada said that people were crying because of their performance. So Prabhupada said the best actor is a person that forgets who they are, and they completely accept the consciousness, the mentality, the mindset of the person they're acting. That's Prabhupada said a good actor. I was trained in drama before when I was in school. We were in drama. We had drama clubs. I was in a youth theater group, and we did drama. And one exercise we did was that you were given characters in a play, and then we were given the characters in a play. We began rehearsing, and then we had that one day where we'd just go out on a field trip, and you'd have to be that person that you're playing. It's like no script; you just have to act like that person the whole day. So that was a training. So here, there's no interruption to the drama. I mean, it is therefore Mahaprabhu says, Aradha Bhagavan Pradesh Tanashat Dhamma Vrindavanam. This is the Param Dham. This is the ultimate where God rests. There's nothing else behind this that this is also a show. This is also takes energy. He's got to put it on. Like in these, you go to these things, Disney World and other fan parks, and this all takes so much energy. At night, they turn it off. It's just a show. But this is not a show. This is his ultimate. This is his resting. This is his abode. Everything comes out of this. But this is what he does. He doesn't just, he's not just sitting there in oneness. That's a drag. And nor is he having to have a hassle of problems in the material world. No, it's just a perfect full lila, Krishna lila. And so the characters, they're the Antaranga Bhaktagon, these Ragatmika Bhaktas, they're servants. They're not him. They're not God. They're jivas, but they're completely surrendered to completely playing that role of his mother. They have nothing else in their mind. So that's what we're getting at here. So therefore, that is the most pleasing type of worship. As the most pleasing to Aradha Bhagavan Brajeshatan, Tadama Brindavana, Ramna Kachiru Pashana. What's the most pleasing type of worship? Brajabadu Bhaganija Kalpita. Brajabadu, that was performed by the residents of Vrindavan. That is the Ramna Kachit Upashana, the most Ramna Upashana, the most pleasing type of worship, because he enjoys so much. You can enjoy, you can play as a child. What a perfect child. After playing in the Ganga and disturbing the baths of all of the Brahmins, what time can I go to? Can someone tell me? Narottam said I can go beyond. Mahapati Ram.
Yes, Prabhuji, we can go on up
To what time?
Another 20-30 minutes, since we started late, but whatever time you want, we can continue.
Yeah, okay, 1:30. Yes,
Prabhuji, no problem.
Yeah. In Mayapur, after playing on the bank of the Ganga and disturbing the baths of the Brahmins, Sachinandan, his father's angry, he's looking for him, he's not there. He goes home, and then he comes home and he immediately runs in and climbs up on his father's lap and embraces him. So he says, no, he's not trying to hide anything, or like, completely innocent. Okay, he comes on a different path. There's no sign that he's even been at the Ganga. And he comes in and embraces. So when Jagannath Mishra feels that embrace, that putra darshanande guchilo bichar, Shneha ponno hoilo duha kichunaya, putra darshanande, when he saw his son, that darsha anande, the bliss he experienced, guchilo bichar, he forgot all of the consideration about I have to chastise me. Shneha ponno hoilo duha, they're just completely in the mood that he's my son and I love him. As Sachinandan climbs up on his lap and embraces Jagannath Mishra. Imagine feeling that. So this is the Vrindavan. This is the perfection of the Rasha. It's the field. It's the environment in which the emotions are completely. There's not even the material world. We can't do that. You can't. There's always mistrust. There's always anxiety there. There's some anxiety there with anything material, temporary. It's not going to go. It's not. But this is that's not there. That anxiety. It's the nature of the soul to have such relationships in Vrindavan, and there's no limit. It's not that Vrindavan's all full up. We're just going to be on the. No, there's no concept of spatial limit. You can enter fully into those pastimes. Keval Shuddha Prema Sharja na jane. Even he displays opulence. Like Krishna, he opens his mouth and Madhya sort of sees the universal form. And she's momentarily thinking, wow, that's pretty spectacular. But then she just forgets it. And immediately she's thinking that he's my son. He's not extraordinary. He's just my child. I have to feed him. Even he displays he's God. She doesn't walk around after that saying, oh, my son is God. Wow, my son is God. She knows at all. But that's how deep, that's how the Shambanda, the familiar relationship, how deep it is, that nothing can disturb it. Even your son displays his opulences as God, she just forgets it the next day. Because she's so into playing as his mother. And Mahaprabhu compares it to Arjuna, who he regrets. We relaxed, lay on the same bed, sat and ate together, sometimes alone, sometimes in front of others. I treated you like equal in front of others. please excuse me for those offenses. So in this case, when Arjuna saw the universal form, it overwhelmed his Sakyaras. He's a friend. Shako, is it? Sako hime shakachi rasho, yeah, bhakto hime shakachiti rahashami edutam bhakto shime shakachiti. You're my devotee, my friend. So you can understand. Bhakto shime shakachi rahashami edutam. You can understand this science of Bhagavad Gita. But here, his friendly relationship, it becomes overwhelmed. Seeing that Krishna, when Krishna displaying the same Vishwarup that he displayed to Madhusuda, which she just forgot about it the next day. And she's not cruising around saying, oh, my son's God, look what he did. He opened his mouth. I saw Lord Vishnu with 1,000 heads. No, because she's just so enchanted by Krishna as a child. But here, Arjuna, it does overwhelm the Sakyaras, and he apologizes. Oh, I noticed at those times I was behaving with you, forgetting you were God. I apologize. And Mahaprabhu gives the example of Lakshmi Devi. Krishna Shangam Lakhi Chahe. She desired, she wanted to enjoy Krishna in the Rasa Lila. Gopika Onuga Hoy Na Koila, but she couldn't, she wanted to enter that arena in the form of Lakshmi. So that wasn't possible because Lakshmi has the conception that Narayan is the supreme Lord. That's in Venkat Bhatta's Lila down in the South India. And so we were discussing that if Madhusuda is maybe this is my camera is not syncing. I don't know why that happens. I have to fix that up sometime. Anyway. So Madhusuda. So she has to forget that he's God in order to chase him and tie him up and these things. And he forgets that he's God also. His neck quivers. And the kajal around his eyes, it gets smeared with his tears as he's rubbing his eyes. And his throat is quivering. Muhushasha, with his quivering breath, like a child crying, and you lose control of your breath. Like that. It's interesting that because your mental state, it affects the way you breathe. So similarly, pranayama, you do breathing and affects mental state. That's how it works. So the way you're thinking will be reflected in the way you're breathing. So when you're afraid like that, it affects the breathing and quivering and crying. Crying is also a type of, you can't control it. Yeah, types of pranayama where you cry like a Brahmari, makes sound like that. Release. I mean, japa is also like that. Japa, you release a lot of anxiety just by through the vibration of japa. And listening to the vibration, what to speak for being Krishna Nam, which awakens love of God. But you get mental peace of mind just by doing japa. So he's breathing, he's sasakampa, and he's afraid. So iti duksalilabi ananda kundesh pragosham nimajantam akapayantam. So the swagosham means he's the devotees. The swagosham, we can also become swagosham, a part of his family in Vrindavan. As I said, it's not that it's like a small village and there's probably only 150 people there. No, it's unlimited because of Nityolila. So there's no question of it being restricted to a certain place. It's the soul can experience it, and you'll have many people in the villages you want, and Krishna wants in that particular experience that you're enjoying with Krishna. It's not like this is just an illusion, but the reality that the Rasa Tattva, the Krishna Tattva works on that platform, that these different relationships can be, they're all going on. You're going to have complete access to them. Swagosham. Nimajantam, he merges them, Nimajantam, within Ananda Kund, pools of ecstasy. As a result of Iti Duk Salilavi, these pastimes, that merges the Swagosham, all of the residents of Vrindavan, when he's behaving in this way, even he's naughty. Same as after the Brahmins, they all complained. They all in a group, they got together and like a party, a dog, a political party. And instead of just one person all separately, they all went together. It's interesting. This seems reasonably Vedic, it's like they all went, it seems to be mannerly social society to do that. It's a political move. If they all went one after another individually, it's a lot easier to deal with that. Let's say Jagannath Mishra, you're only dealing with one person, but you've got 30 people standing there. Anyway, that's just a comment that so they're making their complaints that he steals my Bhagavad Gita. He sits on the ashan, he eats the offerings, he puts the chandan on, wears a garland, looks at me and laughs and says that the object of your puja is being completed. And he spits on me in the water and says, who are you meditating on? I'm the incarnation for the age. So then they're angry, and he does this every day. Every day, we can't take our baths. And then when Jagannath Mishra, they go back to the Ganga, Jagannath Mishra comes there with his stick looking for Nimai. Then the Brahmins say, actually, you're Mahabhagavat, you're Mahabhago. You have such fortune to have a son like that. He's the Supreme Personality of Godhead, and you're engaged in his service. So they they love it. They didn't at that time. They didn't say, he's God. So we're just playing these parts. No, they're serious. They're serious. But they're happy to do that every day, and because the seeing these pastimes, it merges them in pools of ecstasy. So tadiyeshita geshu bhaktir chitatvam. Tadiyeshita geshu, those who are Tadi Ishita Geshu, those are who know Geshu, the Ishita, his potency. That means Aisharya Gyan again. Ishita, so those who think of him as God, Tadi Ishita Geshu, Bhaktir Chitatvam, to show them that actually this is the highest way of loving me. And Mahaprabhu, he comes to teach this to Rupa Goswami, and in this way we can understand how Krishna is the topmost worshipping Krishna in Vrindavan is topmost form of worshipping, topmost method of worshipping God, and Krishna is the ultimate form of Godhead. Is there any questions today?
So, Prabhuji, we don't have any questions as of now.
Okay.
So, one question I had, Prabhuji, that in Vrindavan, everybody takes trouble because of Krishna. The gopis get trouble, the elderly gopis plus the young gopis, Krishna departs. So, can you just tell us a little bit more about people going to God for problems, but here God is the cause of problems? How we understand this aspect?
Yeah. Well, okay. That's called Shambhog and Vipralamba, separation and union. In the same way, we can analyze that in the material world. If there was no misery, if everything was just happiness, even happiness would become boring. You see, we just become accustomed to that. Anyway, it's like that. It's like that, and it's like that. You just become accustomed. It's the variety is the thing that makes things interesting. Otherwise, if this is just without any disturbance, then there's no happiness because there's no meaning, because there's nothing to compare to it. So that's it, in the material world, that duality is there. That's what makes this material world. But in the material world, that duality is not there. So there's no, everything is an andamoy. But so it's not that it's painful like it is for us in the material world. But there's variety there. It's not that it's always the same. There's interesting things. Things happen. I mean, Krishna, he's acting in such a way that he doesn't know how you're going to respond, and you don't know how he's going to respond. And it's interest, and so things. There's in Mahaprabhu's pastimes. There's the Nawab who comes and attacks the devotees, and the devotees are in anxiety over that. And so why does it happen? Well, he's the supreme God. He could control that, so that doesn't happen. Even Haridas Thakur, he's beaten in 22 marketplaces by the Nawab. And Rupa and Sanatan, when Mahaprabhu meets them, then there's fear of the Nawab changing his mind. And well, he's God. He could appear in any circumstance. He could just change everything to be the way he likes it. There's no interference or anything, but it's not like that. I mean, Lord Jesus was crucified, and Krishna was harassed by Kamsa and everything, and so the demons are coming, and so it makes it very interesting. Krishna is always victorious. Mahaprabhu is victorious in his preaching. So there's different, the different types of experiences where there's pain. It's not like pain in the material world. There's variety of the spiritual enjoyment. It's called Vipralambha and Sambhoga, separation and union. And they both are required for the full rush of experience of bhakti, prem rush. And the highest is the gopis. Therefore, the mood of the Goswamis is, "Hey Radhe Brajadevike Chalalite Hanandashuna Kotai." Where are you, Brajadevike? Nandashuta Kotai. Shigovardhana Kalpapada Patilikalini Bani Kotai. Are you on the banks of the Jamuna, Sri Govardhana Kalpapada, or the base of the Govardhan hill? Gosantavati Sarvara Brajai Parai Karai below. This way they wandered all over Vrindavan in great lamentation. But so this is, it's not like the pain in the material world. It's just a flavor of separation from Krishna, and that's the highest taste of separation from Krishna. Mahaprabhu was in that bhav from the time he returned from Gaya. Gopi bhav. Other questions? Yeah, that's the highest form of Krishna. That's the highest mood of loving God, the Gopi bhav. Of Gopi bhav Vipralambha, the separation the gopis feel, that's the highest. Ramnika Chiru Prashna Brajabadu Bhaganija Gopi, that which is performed by the cowherd maidens, actually. That's Brajabadu. Grihabadu, the Brajabadu, the maidens of Vrindavan. When they feel separation from Krishna. That's the topmost. So we'll conclude today.
Yes, Prabhuji. One question has come in the chat box. Why did Krishna choose Nanda Baba and Yashoda Maya as their foster parent, as his foster parents? But,
well, it's just it's not like in a material world where we make choices and it has consequences. There's no issue why he chose. In a material world, it's like, why did he choose them and not choose others? It's like, that's the way things happen in the material world. But he chose them. He chose them. There's no question about that. Why did he chose them? We don't ask, what is the question about that? Maybe you can go into some Puranic histories and see who they were in their previous lives. But, he chose them. Why did he choose them? Why is he blue? That's just how it is. So that's something we could perhaps consider if you were interested. I could give the seminar 4 or 5 sessions on the Rupa Shikha, and we could go through the whole thing, and perhaps over the next few weeks, and then come back to that's Chaitanya Charitamrita anyway. That's something we could do because I have slides for that. So anyone's interested could join those. So it'll be, I think, a little later on Sundays, following Sundays 2 to 3. I think was a better time. So we'll conclude today. Yeah, there's something wrong with my syncing and my video and the sound, so I'll try and get that fixed for next week.
Yeah, no problem.
Yes?
Yes, we can conclude today. Yeah.
Hare Krishna.
Hare Krishna, Prabhuji. Thank you so much for joining. Hare Krishna, everyone. We'll conclude today's session, and thanks all of you for joining. So, everyone, please keep on the lookout for a lot of sessions coming up tomorrow, and Please participate. We'll be sending out messages. You hope you are all attached to the groups. If not, do send us messages so that we can connect you with one of the other group. And I'll just send you my mobile number. Feel free to send me a message, WhatsApp message, if you're not connected with any groups, or so that we can you can participate in tomorrow's sessions as well. Tomorrow also we have a many sessions lined up, wonderful celebrations, and hope to see you all tomorrow. Hare Krishna. So I've sent my mobile number in the chat box. Feel free to send me WhatsApp message, and we can stay connected. Hare Krishna.